Today's video is not for grandma. This one is called Bad Milo, and it is a treat. It is Looney Tunes-esque action, comedy, horror, everything combined in one, starring Ken Marino, Jillian Jacobs, and Peter Stormare. Bad Milo has laughs, ideas, gore, and heart, and more to spare, and it never fails to entertain. And pretty soon they're even by Magnet Films. Magnet releases Magnolia Productions. They have a lot of great horror. If you want good, low-budget B-movie horror that is over-the-top, crazy, violent, you want to see this on the DVD cover. Magnet, hobo with a shotgun, had Magnet on it. A surprise threat. A monster movie with a rom-com heart. Yes, it does have a rom-com heart. It also stars Patrick Warburton. We're going to go over just the briefest of plot stuff here. We have this guy here, Ken Marino, who plays a very repressed man who is incredibly anxious. He suffers from a lot of anxiety and nervousness, and he doesn't often stand up for himself. He just lets things happen. And Patrick Warburton plays his boss, and his boss walks all over him, causing him no end to stress. The boss is clearly trying to commit fraud at the company, and he's using Ken Marino as his fall guy. He promotes him to a position to fire all sorts of employees, and then Patrick Warburton takes all of that money for himself. He's embezzling the company and all that stuff. Oh, and he also moves Ken Marino's office into the bathroom. Yes, he turns the bathroom into Ken Marino's new office because he transforms Ken Marino's old office into something else. And, you know, he's just a source of so much stress for poor Ken Marino. Almost to the point that Ken Marino has terrible stomach issues. His stomach always gets upset when he gets really stressed out about life and things. He ends up going to the bathroom for over an hour at a time. And most days he spends up to 2 to 3 hours in the bathroom each day, according to his wife here. They're going to therapy to try to They go into a doctor guy. They also go to therapy, but they go to a doctor guy first. We open the film with him going to a doctor to find out what's going on with him, and they take a look at his stuff, up his gastrointestinal tract, and they find a lump. They find a bump, and they think it might just be stress. It might just be a lot of stress for him, and the doctor wants him to calm down his nerves and not be stressed anymore. Easier said than done, because the next few scenes we see Patrick Warburton and a bunch of other people causing him no end of stress. His home life is also stressful. His wife wants to have a baby. He's not in a financially stable situation to have one of those, so he's not agreeing with that. They go over to his mom's house for dinner. His parents have split up. His mom has gotten with a dude that is probably younger than him, and the sugar daddy, the trophy husband to Ken Marino's mom, the stepdad, is pretty much open about the fact that he is very sexually active with the mother, and that's causing him a lot of stress there too. His mom says he wants grandbabies, so he wants them to do that, and he's also getting stressed out about that. And they think that maybe the reason why they haven't been able to have babies is because he has some problems getting his swimmers to swim properly, so they recommend a doctor. In fact, they even invited the doctor to dinner. So he's having problems there. He leaves the dinner party early to go home, and that's when the werewolf scene happens. He starts to have a terrible gastrointestinal problem on the toilet, and then he loses consciousness, and something comes out of him, not out of his mouth, out of the other door. Something comes out. We don't see him yet. Something comes out. And then we swap scenes to, I think it was either the doctor, the gastrointestinal doctor man. Yeah, I think it was him, maybe. There is a creature that attacks him. The doctor turns around, he freaks out about a creature that attacks him. And then the next day on the news, we see that guy has been attacked on the news and the cops have ruled it as a wild raccoon attack. And Ken Marino is very upset about that, naturally. But before we get to that, there was another scene that happened while Ken Marino was unconscious on the floor in the bathroom. We see the camera pan down to the floor. The camera has panned down to the floor. There is the creature that killed the dude has come back into the bathroom and has we'll get to that. So the next scene, he goes back. Patrick Warburton's giving him stress at the workplace as well, and he has a co-worker in the bathroom office who isn't exactly competent. He has destroyed his entire paper presentation that he's been working on for the past 3 months, so now he has to retype that up for Patrick Warburton, so he's very busy. He's messed up the wazoo. And so naturally, he decides to go take up his wife's suggestion that he goes to therapy for his anxiety. And he goes to meet Peter Stormare, who is a therapist who specializes in hypnosis. And they decide he agrees to the hypnosis after some stuff that's been going on with him, and he wants to find out what's been going on with him. And so Peter Stormare puts him under his hypnosis to try to find the source of Ken Marino's anxieties. Ken Marino starts talking about his dad, how his dad left him when he was a baby, and he never heard from him again. And he's very upset about that he's never come to birthday parties or anything like that. He knows where his father lives and all that stuff, but his father has never made attempts to be in his life and all that stuff, so that's pretty messed up for him. That's causing him a lot of stress. And while he's unconscious, subconscious, unconscious, whatever, unconsciously conscious, under hypnosis, something starts to happen. He has some gastrointestinal problems again. And Peter Stormare is going like, "Don't go to the bathroom here!" But, something happens, and, out of his back door, out, out the back door pops this thing. He's been living inside him. This is why I've been putting off this movie. I cannot talk about this movie seriously. This is amazing. This creature is called Milo, and he lives inside his butt. He comes out when Ken Marino feels stressed to kill the source of his stress. Because he's come out previously, again, to attack he has attacked the erectile dysfunction doctor, and he killed the erectile dysfunction doctor, and he's also killed his coworker in the bathroom. They called it the angry raccoon attack, serial raccoon, killer raccoon attacks. But it's no killer raccoon, it's just Milo. It's for Milo. I don't know what to call him other than a butt monster. He's a butt monster. He lives inside his butt. Ken Marino and Milo have a stare-off, but Ken Marino is so confused about what has just happened. But he has taken it very well. Milo has escaped. He runs out the window to go kill again. This time he's going to kill the coworker in the bathroom. And he wakes up, Peter Stormare wakes up Ken Marino, and it explains what has happened. That what's been happening to him isn't just gastrointestinal problems. He has a butt monster problem. So Peter Stormare is explaining that this isn't entirely impossible. Because he's apparently a historian for mythology as well, and he pulls out an old mythology book and he flips to a random page, and we see a butt monster coming out of an old Egyptian picture or whatever, and he explains that this is they have these little butt monster deities. They're part of your subconscious, and they're your repressed anger and anxieties and all this stuff that you have been repressed. Basically, when you are anal retentive, you form a butt monster. So he has a problem. So when he doesn't deal with his emotions properly, Milo comes out to deal with them for him. Peter Stormare explains that Milo is a part of Ken Marino. They cannot just kill Milo, because if they kill Milo, that would be the equivalent of giving him a lobotomy. He would not be the same again. So so Peter Stormare ends up saying, the character's name, Ken Marino's character's name is Ethan, I think. Peter ends up saying, Ethan, you know that he's going to come back, and you're going to have to let him up. And Ken Marino looks at Peter Stormare and says, have you seen it? He's huge! He won't fit! So Peter Stormare ends up saying he's come out before and he's gone back in before. He will find a way to get back in. But you're going to have to let him get back in. But before you let him go back up, you have to bond with him. You have to bond with Milo. So Ken Marino and Milo start to bond, and he treats him like a little pet. And Milo is analogous to Ken Marino's repressed feelings about being a dad, about being a father. There is a lot of serious stuff going on in this outrageous, gory slasher comedy here. You see, Ken Marino doesn't think he's going to be a good dad because his dad abandoned him when he was a baby, and he's afraid that he may not feel like he's ready, and if he gets his wife pregnant, he will abandon her like his dad abandoned his mom. And so he doesn't want to do that. He has had a lot of psychological problems with having kids, and he's been putting it off. He's been faking orgasms and all sorts of stuff to prevent having a child. He does not want one because he's afraid he's going to end up like his father. And so that is what he's gone to Peter Stormare to talk about his repressed feelings with his dad. So he ends up going to track down his father. His father has also become a hermit in the middle of nowhere. And so Ken Marino and his father try to talk, but Ken Marino's father says, no, I don't want to do any of this stressful stuff. I just want to live in the moment, live in the here and now, and not have any stressful stuff going on. Which starts to make you think, what's going on with Ken Marino's father? Why is he acting so peculiar? Well, we'll get to that in a moment. He goes back to Peter Stormare to talk about some stuff going on and all that stuff, and he says, you need to get your father into this so we can talk this out. You need to talk this out with him to resolve all of this stuff, and maybe then you could calm Milo down. And so Ken Marino tries to do that, but then his wife says that she's pregnant. Somehow, some way, she managed to get pregnant, and Ken Marino can't deal with that, and he abandons her. He leaves to run away to a hotel and says that he cannot do that. He's not ready for that. Because Patrick Warburton has basically just committed fraud at the company, and he's been basically removed because there's no company anymore. He has no position there anymore. He and Patrick Warburton has stolen all of his savings, his retirement fund. They have no money. They can't afford this kid. They can't afford anything right now. They're going to be having a lot of problems, and he's like, he doesn't want to put that burden onto her, so he has fled, basically, because life is a little bit too stressful. Milo comes out as well, and they basically have like a pet relationship for a while. We see a lot of nice bonding moments with Ethan and his butt monster Milo, and Milo even has a cute side. He has smiles. He makes all sorts of little sounds that sounds like Nibbler from Futurama, and I don't know. He wasn't credited in the IMDb page, but I don't know. But Milo's sound effects sound a lot like Nibbler, to the point of me wondering, did Frank Welker voice Milo? Did Frank Welker voice? He has a sense of humor for it. He probably would have said yes to make Milo's sound effects if they asked him, and that would have been amazing. But they didn't credit him. I didn't see him in the credits list, and I didn't read the entire end credits list of Star Wars names to find Frank Welker. I don't think he was credited. But if he was in this, if he did voice Milo, that would be amazing. Because Milo just sounds like Nibbler. But then again, a lot of people can make a Nibbler impression. You know, I could do it. It's not that difficult, you know? So, who knows? Maybe somebody else voiced Milo. I don't know. But I really wish it was Frank Welker. I really hope it was Frank Welker. Anyways, they have a bonding moment, and of course Milo kills Patrick Warburton before the end, because of course he did. Why would Ken Marino want to let Patrick Warburton get away with all of his embezzlements and ruining his life without having Milo, the butt monster? So he confronts Patrick Warburton. Patrick Warburton is in the elevator, and Ken Marino is standing outside the elevator, and he basically pulls his pants down. Ken Marino does. And Milo comes out. Patrick Warburton is very confused about what's going on, and he tells Milo to go get him. And Milo gets Patrick Warburton. The elevator doors close. Ken Marino goes downstairs to just run away from it all. But anyways, so he's trying to live in the now, to try to get rid of the stress, to let Milo not ever come back out to eat and kill people ever again. He's trying to figure out ways to feed Milo other than feeding him the people, because he doesn't want Milo killing people anymore. There's a lot of the funny stuff going on with this, and but yeah, he deals with his wife's pregnancy poorly, but he ends up tracking down his father. And he ends up getting his father to agree to go to a therapy session with Peter Stormare. So Ethan and his father are in this therapy session, and Ethan starts bombarding his father with a lot of stressful questions. And suddenly Ethan gets very stressed himself, and Milo pops out. Ethan's father suddenly gets very stressed as well, and he pops out his own butt monster. And Peter Stormare goes like, I knew it! It's hereditary! And he inherited the butt monster from his father. And his father didn't want his butt monster coming out anymore. So he ran away to live a hermit life of zenness, to never be stressed. And we can see that his father's butt monster is very emaciated. He hasn't taken care of his butt monster. He hasn't fed his butt monster. And that is symbology. It is the symbology of Ken Marino's father not being a good father. Because Ken Marino's father was not a good father both to Ken Marino or to his butt monster. Meanwhile, Ken Marino is trying to be a good father to Milo by trying to feed him, trying to figure out how to keep him calm and all that stuff. He's learning how to be a father by dealing with Milo. He's a butt monster, and so you can see the symbology here of both a prospecting father and the deadbeat father not being a good father, and Yeah, so Milo kills his father's butt monster, and the father turns into a lobotomized mess, and then Milo runs away to go kill her because, I don't know, I guess he's jealous about a new baby or something. So Ken Marino has to go chase down Milo to stop Milo from killing his wife. And so after that, the Milo comes into so his wife has gone to a dinner party from his father, his mother. Ken Marino's mother has made a dinner party, and the wife has attended the dinner party. And Milo has come to crash the dinner party. Ken Marino has come to save his wife, and he starts to fight Milo. And when Milo gets hurt, Ken Marino feels the pain because they're the same. They're very connected. They're part of the same person. So Ken Marino picks up an axe and he is ready to lobotomize himself to save his wife. He cuts off Milo's legs and one of his arms to stop him from being a killer, basically. And then Milo calms down. Ken Marino wraps Milo up in a blanket. He's in a bloody mess, and it's symbolizing Ken Marino now accepting fatherhood. He wraps Milo up in a nice little blanket, and he shows Milo off to his wife, and his wife is taking all of this very well. And she helps Milo get back up, get back up, and everybody's living happily ever after. She's going to have a child, and he has accepted to be a father, and he's going to be in his child's life. And he's also taking care of his now lobotomized father. And the mother, Ken Marino's mother, knew about Ken Marino's father's butt monster. And she hoped that he wouldn't have a butt monster either, so she never mentioned it. She tried to never mention it at all. But she was okay with the father leaving because of the butt monster and stuff like that, I guess. But yeah, she's taken all of this very well, and so has he. It is an amazing movie. This is an amazing movie, and is a lot deeper than the crazy carnage it betrays. It is a fantastic film about fatherhood, about learning to accept responsibilities of being a prospecting father, and it is also absolutely Looney Tunestic crazy. If you like these types of crazy stuff, go ahead and watch Bad Milo. It is hilarious.